author of this book, Sugata Srinivasaraju, who is a very close friend of mine and a well-known author as well as a journalist. And also for the reason the book that is being released today brings back memories, good as well as bad memories. A book which I think should be read by most of the people to understand the realities that took place in taking the decision of declaring the emergency as well as calling off the emergency. The author has done a tremendous job of collecting the material to find out the reason why the emergency was declared in this country, as also the atrocities and other activities that took place during emergency, as well as the post-emergency situation in the country. He has also mentioned in the book the activities of Indians settled down abroad, especially in the United States, who took a great part in creating a sense amongst the local Indians in America as well as in India to fight against the declaration of emergency and also the consequences thereof. In the course of these proceedings, you'll be knowing more about the contents of the book, so I wouldn't try to go further than that, what I have already said. But I would like to place before you certain personal knowledge of mine during the declaration of emergency and thereafter during the pendency of the emergency. I was a lawyer who had put in 10 years practice. I was then about 35 years old. And on the 26th morning of June 1975, we all came to know that for the second time, I came to know it is a second time emergency after going through the book. Earlier there was an emergency after the Chinese War, but not as severe as the one that was declared in 1975. And on that day, it so happened that 4 members of parliament, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Mr. L.K. Advani, Mr. Madhu Dandavate, S.N. Mishra, were in Bangalore on parliamentary work, and they were arrested on the 26th of June, 1975. There was nobody agreeing to defend them. Of course, they were detained with hundreds of other local leaders as well as the young students also, who were likely to create a movement against the declaration of emergency. All of them were detained in Bangalore, some of them, and others in the local jails with the thing. And one of them, a local leader, Ramakrishna Hegde, who later became the chief minister, was detained in Ballari jail, though the practice was to detain the detainees in the place where their family was there. But in this particular case, an exception was made. He was kept in Ballari jail so that he'll not have the pleasure of the weekly meeting with the family also. Similarly, others who came from Delhi for parliamentary work, they were also kept in Bangalore. And after some time, they were defended by Mr. Justice Rama Joyce, who is no more, who was then, of course, not a judge. And he had certain affiliation with RSS. So within a short while, he was also detained, and they had no lawyer to appear. At that point of time, I was approached to appear for them, and I agreed to appear for them. And it so happened that the jail was then situated between my office and the High Court. So my journey to the High Court always had a stopover at the jail, that I could meet them every day and talk to them about the things that were happening outside jail and everything. So happened, when the matter was listed for final hearing, I thought I should not take the risk of arguing the case myself because it was a matter of international recognition. So I traveled between Bombay, Chennai, and Delhi, requesting the senior lawyers to come and argue that we'll look after the expenses and the thing. In that process, I met Mr. Soli Sorabji in Mumbai and requested him to come and argue the case in Bangalore. Then I went to Delhi. I met Mr. Shanti Bhushan, who actually was responsible for the declaration of emergency, being a lawyer appearing for Raj Narayan in the election case at Allahabad. He also agreed to come. Then I came to Chennai and asked Mr. Venugopal, who later became the Attorney General of India, to come and argue the matter. And all of them came and argued, and we succeeded. The Karnataka High Court declaration of emergency as an act in malice, and they declared that the emergency should be lifted forthwith and all, but that did not happen. Per contra, the Attorney General of India came to Bangalore and he appeared in the court and mentioned to the court of Chief Justice, then Justice Govind Bhatt, that the declaration of emergency was a wrong act on the part of the central government. He has advised them to withdraw the emergency. At the same time, he has also advised the state government to release the detainees. So all of us were very happy that such advice was given by the Attorney General of India. So I ran to the jail to tell the detainees that they will be released shortly and they should be going home anytime. But to my surprise, when I went there, none of them were there. I mean, those from Karnataka were kept inside the jail, and the 4 detainees came from Delhi. They were kept separately somewhere inside, and also that nobody could contact them. Then I came to know that the Attorney General came and advised that they should be released, but in reality, emergency was not lifted. They were not released. They were transported to Delhi by a special aircraft so that they'll be kept in Tihar jail in Delhi. And I ran back to the court and mentioned to the Chief Justice that what the Attorney General told the court is not correct at all. As a matter of fact, he has misled the court from passing any order in regard to the bail of these people. And the Chief Justice was very, very angry. And by the time, having made the statement, the Attorney General had left the court also. Then he directed that all the 4 detainees who were taken back to Delhi should be brought back to Bangalore. And other detainees were also should be given the privileges that a political prisoner has in the thing. And that created a sense of misunderstanding, if not not believing the arguments of the central government, which contributed to the judgment of the court of the Karnataka High Court in 1976. But very unfortunately, the 2 judges who delivered the judgment were transferred from Bangalore. One was to be the next Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, Justice D.M. Chandrasekhar. He was sent to Allahabad as a puisne judge, and the other judge, Justice Sadanand Swamy, was transferred to Guwahati High Court. And in the course of emergency, such things happened regularly. The judges were not inclined to favor the government, were transferred from different courts to places far away, practically as a punishment because they did not support the government of the day, central government of the day. Such was the thing. Similarly, students were detained and kept, and they were not allowed to take examinations, so they will lose 1 more year in the academic career of them and all. But I appeared for them, and I requested the court to give them an opportunity to appear in the examination hall and come back to the jail, which the court agreed and gave them that opportunity of not losing the year and writing their examination. Similarly, I moved an application on behalf of Mr. Ramakrishna Hegde that he should be transferred to Bangalore, and that application was also allowed, the thing. But unfortunately, the highest court in India reversed that judgment, saying declaration of emergency was an act of the executive. It cannot be reversed so simply as has been done by the High Court of Karnataka. In my opinion, during those 18 months period, the Constitution of India did not work at all. People suffered for lack of fundamental rights given to them, the freedom of speech, freedom of movement. In reality, such an emergency had never occurred in a democratic India, which came into existence on 26th of January 1950. Ladies and gentlemen, most of us who were there have seen the consequences of emergency. and how emergency came to be withdrawn and what reason, which is described in the book, is mainly because of the fact that the government of United States put pressure on the government of India that they should withdraw this emergency, which was not really a thing which could have been there in a democratic setup at all. Such is the content of this book, which according to me should be made available to the youth of this country who were not born during the period of emergency, so that they will know what exactly could happen when people who take personal interest in the political matters and all. This emergency, according to me, was declared to save the chair of one person only. And that person came from a family which had already ruled this country for nearly 15 years. Think of the people who died in custody during that period. Think of their family. What is that they have done to suffer this? Nobody could talk loudly also. That was emergency. The movements were restricted. A large section of the population was under vigilance. Those 18 months or so really left, at least in people of my age, an impression that democracy can always be overruled. We, the people of India, can never be sure of our rights. I hope such a situation does not arise in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a wonderful book, which all of you, I'm sure, will read and remember your days during that period compared to the contents of the book. I wish Sugata Srinivasaraju all the very best, and this book should become very popular. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.